Well, welcome, Brad Holman from Microsoft as well. Ready here? All right.
Hey, Alicia.
Good. Excellent. Welcome everyone for this session, Harnessing the Power of LinkedIn webinar series. We are so grateful to Microsoft and LinkedIn for providing this amazing LinkedIn webinar series for our community. We know that many of you have tuned in to really understand how to unlock that power. And thankfully, Brad is the electrician. So he's going to help us to unlock the power of LinkedIn and really harness it for our good. Let me give an overview of this series and then go right into getting your input. And this is interactive, so there will be many opportunities either for you to put your to go on Facebook and go into the feed and put your questions there. You can also go into the chat on Zoom, or you can also text your questions to 22333 and type JHUWL in the message. What we all know is that LinkedIn is the networking platform for professionals. It has over 660 million users across the globe. And if you have a job, I know you likely have a profile. So maybe you post, perhaps you don't. Either way, you likely can improve your presence and make the platform work for you. The Harnessing of LinkedIn series is all about leveraging LinkedIn to put it to work for you, offering tips and tricks to optimize your LinkedIn presence. And we all can think about how we can do this, especially during this time of COVID, when everything we're doing is online. As things are constantly changing, we are going to come up with ways to get us through these tough and uncertain times, and we'll support one another together. And we're really thankful to have Brad. Let me tell you about Brad. Let me give his background first. To set you off, he is a retriever, so he is local. He is a University of Maryland, Baltimore County graduate, as well as receiving an MBA from the University of Liverpool. He has worked for over 15 years in higher education under a global context, delivering learning and student experience solutions at scale. As a technology strategist, Brad's core role is to understand business value and need and provide technology solutions that will serve value. Brad started with Microsoft in January of 2020, and I can tell you, Microsoft, you did a great job in picking him as a talent, and we're just so grateful for his attention today. So we will jump right in. Brad, you want to start into this discussion?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for the warm intro, Alicia. And I'm really happy to be here with you guys to address this particular topic. And the other thing is, over and above working in higher education and working with Microsoft, I have worked in the space of startups and entrepreneurs with particularly in the Baltimore community. So I have a warm place in my heart around the local community startups and small businesses with the Fast Forward program at Hopkins, as well as at Betamore. So folks probably are familiar with that if you're in the startup space. So I'm going to jump right in and share some slides here with you guys. Let me know.
And everyone, if you're watching, you might want to get to your computer or pick it up on your phone, because there is going to be a point when Brad's going to show you how to access these things in real time. So be sure to get those.
Awesome. So small is mighty is the theme here. We know that the world has flipped upside down over the last 10 or so months. And really what I want to step through here is I want to go over how has LinkedIn kind of become this community space for small businesses. From there, how is it that, what are some of the tools around learning that you as a small business owner, you as an entrepreneur, even if you have an idea that's interesting to you, that you could spark something new, how can LinkedIn help? And then if you do actually have a small business and you are going through these times, which many of us are, what tools do you have available to you through the stack of LinkedIn? And by the time you finish this webinar, you're going to see there's a plethora of capabilities that will help you with your business to sustain these challenging times. So now more than ever, we're in it together, right? That's the theme here. Mm-hmm. So let's rewind. So I'm going to do a little story here. Back in January or the late December timeframe, just like any other time, small businesses were focused on things like retaining new customers or attracting new customers or retaining them, increasing profitability, reduce operational costs. These are all the normal things that those of us who have gone and trying to do startups and small businesses worry about day in and day out. It's what keep us awake. But that's really was focused around before everything changed. Then come March, I want to say it's March 13th, if I get the date exact.
That's the date.
That's
You
the
got
date
it.
when COVID struck. So what happened from what we thought was going to be a year for prosperity with small businesses got shaken up pretty significantly. 85% of the small businesses, and these are metrics that came out through LinkedIn. They're measuring this information based on feedback from the LinkedIn community, but contraction in revenue, right? And that study also is through McKinsey. 96% impacted by COVID, naturally. 75% don't have the ability to remote work. We're blessed with the ability to be here talking with folks. You and Leisha and I, we do it all day long, standing and having conferences and meetings with folks. 51% say the business will only be able to operate for another 3 months. And then there's 13% that are not confident about what their contingency plan is. That's scary. And the point is, what's important about this is that you're not alone. We are a community here. That's why we're talking right now, is we are a community here to support you. Mm-hmm. So what are the table stakes that you as a small business owner, you as an entrepreneur, you as an ideator who are trying to start up, you need to think about? Obviously, business continuity and viability. Those are core to your foundation as running a business. But being able to grow in this time is really making a change and impacting your livelihood. You got to think about putting food on the table and pay rent, things like that are also impactful to you as being a small business owner. So step in LinkedIn and what's started to happen because of these communities and small business.
And the point that was made in the bubble, the bottom bubble, about doing everything to bring people that have left maybe your employ. So maybe you had people left during a part of the pandemic, and now thinking about coming back, and there's a new skill needed. I mean, I know Brad's going to talk about that, but it's really something that small businesses can harness at this. When you agree?
Absolutely. When I get into the skilling, this is one of my passions is there's going to be jobs that we don't even know exist that we need to fill. And how are we going to do that? So I'll get into that piece of it. Thank you. Thank you, Leisha. So you open the conversation with LinkedIn is the professional network with it's large in scale. It's got a huge community. So really, this is the space where you as a small business owner can go to engage with one another, but also to build your brand, and also to be provided specific tools that you need to be able to grow up and scale out with your company, whatever idea it may be. That brings me to the lemonade of COVID. So when you have lemons, you make lemonade.
COVID or lemon meringue pie.
Or lemon meringue pie.
Yep.
Which is amazing. These COVID's essentially fast forward, and we've heard this on the news, we've heard this talked about with many folks. COVID has fast forwarded our lifestyle into the digital era by decades, I would argue. And what that's done is it's allowed us to reimagine how we drive value and enable new opportunities. So turning to learning to help adapt to the new normal, right? How do you start to skill up so you can adapt to the new normal? And then learning is cemented in the strategic position, both culturally and functionally, as us as people, as we continue to go forward. Making learning a priority is imperative, right? So if you don't know a specific skill or you want to learn a specific skill, learning that is important for you to actually move or act on that reimagined new opportunity that you may have. All of us are entrepreneurs in this case. If you have a job today and you're working, but you have opportunity to spend more time to go learn and pick up work or do gig work on the side, you can do it. And that's really what's really important about this. And the other piece, that's the like very tactile part of business. The softer part of this is your mental health and your health. So the other piece that LinkedIn also has some material, and I'll show you that, is how do you sustain this new lifestyle? If you are like us that are actually working remotely, your day doesn't start and end. It's continuous. You're not taking breaks. I mean, it's just our human nature. So having the ability to focus on your mental health, and because of that need, we've seen a 10x increase in LinkedIn in the mindfulness and stress management content.
Wow.
So folks might not have thought about that before, right? You kind of drove into work, you listen to your audiobook, you listen to the radio, you talk to your friend, you get to work, you do your thing, you take lunch, you go home. There was a separation. Now the mental stress has mounted so much because we don't have that separation. So we're being proactive to try to think that through, and how do we teach ourselves to be more proactive in mental health.
And what's been the uptick? What's been the uptick of people using the mindfulness and
10x?
management?
So 10 times the increase in mindfulness and stress management content since the beginning of the pandemic. Just since the beginning of I think it was March into like middle of the summertime were the metrics we had.
Wow.
So learning is obviously what's going to lead us into this future of work and how we fill those positions that don't exist. In response to social distancing, social learning is here to stay. So we have what I'll go through now is I want to talk through some of the top skills or top courses that we're seeing, but this whole concept of reskilling and upskilling is it's near and dear to me. I've started down that path a little while ago. How do you reinvent you as a person? Maybe you're not feeling so good about your small business decision and you want to shift your game and you want to go to another or start another business. You have these tools available to do so. So based on the feedback that we're seeing, the consumption in LinkedIn Learning, the top 5 right now, these are the top 5 fastest growing skills in LinkedIn Learning based on the numbers. And that's customer experience, obviously. And if you think about like what's changed since COVID, what you have restaurants that are becoming grocery stores. Like I read an article where restaurants are providing vegetables and things because they would typically make platters and serve the customer. Now they're actually selling the produce. They're changing their style. You have 3D printing everything. If you want to get into 3D print the masks that they have for COVID, you have retailers shifting their game to curbside pickup. Why are these points important? They've changed the norms that we're used to. So we have to go in and actually kind of do a baseline check on where we are. So digital marketing, data analysis, financial statements, forecasting, analytics skills, really important. How do you make better decisions on data? You may not even know how to set up a use data science to set up a pipeline to analyze your financials. Go take a course, get with the community, have someone lean in with you, and you can shift your game, right?
Absolutely.
So those were the top 5. However, I use the term choose your own adventure. So LinkedIn has a very modularized approach to deliver learning. And what I mean by that is you can do anything from a course to a short, I like your term you've used in the past, Alicia, snackable video. So it's a quick thing you can watch. Or you can do an entire program where you go through the whole course. It's several courses that you go through and earn that certification.
Now, once you go through the courses, you actually get a certification in every domain.
You do. So they have, and that gets applied to your LinkedIn profile. So you can showcase that you've gone and you've exhibited competency in this particular skill, and that shows that. The other thing is one metric that I have is those that you have take skills and put them and assign their skill badges to their profile are 27. I think it's if they have 10 skills, and if you go into LinkedIn, you look at your skills section, it's a little bubble that you have a skill. You have more than,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
So
no, that area.
So if you have more than 10 skills, you're 27 times more to be recognized by a search in LinkedIn. These are like just quirky little metrics that they have that are interesting. But point being, you can see there's a vast array based on this slide that I'm showing you of different paths you can take to choose your own adventure. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle here really quickly.
All right, time for a demo.
Time for a demo.
Pull out your laptops, pull out your phones, get your apps open.
So you're looking here at my profile. This is my main drop page for LinkedIn. And if you're
oh, that's something I liked.
There you go. Look at that. So if you right here at the top right hand corner of your profile in LinkedIn, you'll see there's a learning button. That's going to drop you into the learning portal. So this is I'm dropping into my learning portal. But I want to call out a couple of interesting things here. I keep harping on skilling as a very important topic. Some of us go to the gym to work out, to build muscle, build fitness, continue to work out, and that makes you feel better. But your brain and your skilling is another muscle if you think about it. So this weekly goal is pretty cool in that it nudges you. So if you go in and just set your weekly goal for 30 minutes, cut your time away, make sure you dedicate yourself some time. 30 minutes is not a lot of time out of the course of an entire week. That you can sit down and choose a course, watch a snackable video, whatever it may be, because you're continually building that muscle that's going to give you that knowledge that's going to essentially either let you come up with an idea that helps you transform your business or lets you toggle into a whole new job altogether. So I'll ask you a question, Alicia. Is there anything that you've been doing maybe working on or that has your interest?
I've been doing some on the side with a couple mentees. We've been doing some video productions.
So let's go ahead and just do this really quick.
That's not in there.
Video producer.
It's in there?
So here we go. We got, if you see, you have a course you can take for video production. You can watch a little snackable video. It's 11 minutes long. Or if you really want to get committed, there's a learning path. So you drop into the learning path and it shows you, it's a series of courses that you take on how to become a film producer.
Wow.
After 18 hours, you get your certificate and you should have a better understanding on what needs to be done to become a film producer. Okay.
And so at the bottom where it said, you'll learn, it says who the faculty are that are teaching.
That's right. Who's contributed to building this whole program.
Wow.
So there are, and as I mentioned before, you've got this whole vast array of content that's available inside of LinkedIn Learn. So if you have a LinkedIn profile, take a minute to click and just go take a look, see what's in there, peruse around, see something that you may be interested in.
And is there a limit? Like, can you only take a certain amount of courses per month or?
So if you're using your free LinkedIn account, you have access to some free courses. However, this is, if you want to go have access to the entire, the Cadillac, if you will, everything, you can sign up for, it's associated with your LinkedIn premium account. So I've got right here, you can see the sign up page. You can go out, here's my homework I would give anyone that's tuning in here is use the holiday. I'm sure you'll take some time off in the holiday. Use it to train some of that muscles, train the brain. Go in and sign up for a free trial if you want. You don't have to stay committed, you can stop it, right? But the awesome part is for what's essentially the price of like, I don't know, Netflix or one of those streaming services for entertainment, you're getting access to something that you can change your entire livelihood, your professional livelihood. So it's a really good thing or you could say for the price of a couple of lattes per week or in a month, right? Because we all know how much they cost. And the other thing that I think I'd like to talk through is a good place to start. So if that's too much, you don't want to go digging in. There's a blog, the LinkedIn Learning blog, where there's regular contribution from the LinkedIn Learn community around things that are going on, top skills and courses, career success tips, just yet another capability or another support mechanism that's made available to you through the Learn platform.
Wow, wow, wow. And that's the link is both in the chat as well as on this slide and the QR.
Yes,
If you
exactly.
screenshot it, anybody watching, you can definitely go on this blog just using those links, but they're also in the chat and Facebook as well.
Perfect. So I'll go, that's kind of the whole component of the learning. So remember I talked about the community, I talked about the hardships and the headwinds. Here's the resource for you to go learn and skill. Now I'm going to shift gears and I want to start targeting more around small business. What tools do you as a small business have available in LinkedIn? So LinkedIn also has another capability that's, and this is all response, but they really ramped up and turned it on following COVID-19 to help, because knowing that there were some challenges. So the way I'm going to do this, I'll keep it on just kind of edit mode on PowerPoint, because I'm going to toggle over and show you the actual page. So this, and all the links will be provided. So this is the small business, the showcase page for small business. And this is a large group of contributors in the community to the small business. It's got 415, almost 415,000 followers.
Wow.
Inside of here, anywhere from asking questions to finding a mentor to posting what you're doing to getting what's the new latest thing for LinkedIn Live events. Great thing to go and follow if you have a LinkedIn.
And this is all free, right?
Free, correct.
Free 99.
Free 99.
Free 99. So this is just geared for small businesses. Just want to point that out as people are thinking about what can they do and the awesome service that LinkedIn is providing. This is all for your small businesses.
I know I've done the startup thing. I've run a startup before, and I know that it's all of us. It's like every day is you figuring out how to undo the mistakes that you've made the day before. It's hard being an entrepreneur and a small business owner. This is that ecosystem that I didn't know about it then, that I would have thrived inside of, because I have so many questions around things. When you're trying to do pitches, when you're trying to go to Series A, when you're trying to figure out your business case, it's all here. Yeah. So that's what's really cool about this piece. The other thing that they have here is my screen. There we go. There's this newsletter. It's the big trends in small business. And here's that's another newsletter you can follow. So what'll happen is anytime that there's new kind of coverage on new published events going on around the small business community, you'll get alerted to that. And it's good to know like what's going on around the other small business community. Is there something that I'm not aware of that someone's addressed already that I could partner up? Hey, I see this restaurant industry is hanging by a thread. What are they doing to address that? Can I reach out to that community and have a collaboration and figure out how we can solve for this?
And you can subscribe to all these things through your LinkedIn profile.
That's correct. So similar to the way that we're doing this right now in Facebook, LinkedIn also has two things that they do. There's live streams for businesses. So that's where we watch LinkedIn put these events on. So you can see they've got Mark Cuban doing a session with Daniel Roth in LinkedIn. You can watch, and they just cover different topics throughout the course of time. If I go over here and look, they have a live stream for small businesses, and normally they're just focusing around, the LinkedIn team is focusing around like areas to help lean back and give back to the small business community on guidance, knowledge sharing, things like that. Just a good resource to have available when these streams come out to take a look at.
Excellent.
So kind of rewinding back, I talked about you could choose your own adventure as a in the LinkedIn Learn space. But what they've also gone forth and done is LinkedIn has put together templates and packages around specific areas. So you can follow those that course learning path based on these particular topics that you have. So, and the other piece I mentioned around, and it's at the top, right? I mentioned this to you about mental health. managing stress for positive change, how to manage feeling overwhelmed. These are really important things to think about so you don't burn out. Because I know the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, we feel like we can take on the world, but alas, we're only human and you do burn out. So it helps to just kind of guide that narrative. Then the other piece here is the live events that I was talking about. So I showed you that LinkedIn does these streamed events, but there's also what's called scroll up to the top here, LinkedIn events. So there's two pieces to the LinkedIn events. There is the virtual events, which is really around kind of like a camaraderie, community building type of thing where you get together and people can come together in a virtual event and collaborate. While the live event is more tailored around what you building your brand. So if you want to go out and showcase a pitch, or you want to go out and kind of put your message out around what you're doing with your business, how you can stream that. And if anyone that's in your LinkedIn small business community, you're going to see that, oh, Brad's Pizzas is getting ready to stream event. Let me take a look at that. What's he doing? So it gives you that stage to present your brand as a small business, which is it's important. It's difficult sometimes to do that when you don't necessarily know if you have those resources.
And their ability to access the streaming function, they just need to go. How do they access the ability to do that?
So if you come over here, I'm toggling back to my LinkedIn profile here, and there's a little events button. And you've got everything that you need inside of this to prepare your event. And you can choose to either use what we're doing here, it's another technology, Zoom, or if you want to use the LinkedIn Live capability that's embedded, you can do that as well.
So don't worry, next series, which you're going to hear about part 2, is going to be broadcast on LinkedIn. So we'll get to test that out. We're testing everything out for you.
There we go. And let's see, I'm gonna bear with my computer here. The last piece is, this one's really, really cool. LinkedIn has put together a action plan for small businesses, and the link will be available to you. I won't go into too much depth on it because we may actually use that as another topic for one of our next series, but I am going to gloss through this just so you're aware of what's available. So this is essentially the playbook of using LinkedIn to get your small business up and out scaled. So getting started, the fundamentals of LinkedIn, gaining the momentum, growing your reach, growing your business on LinkedIn. I would suggest everyone take time to read through this. That's tuning into this. It's really powerful as far as what type of capabilities you have at LinkedIn to help drive new change in your business. And I get it. Like, a lot of people are having to think about how to do new things, and they might not be very familiar with the technology. They might not know where to go to actually have some tools that they can use to grow. It's right here.
We've already started getting some questions in, Brad. Can I post those to you?
Yeah, sure. I can stop share because that's the end of the presentation piece of it.
No, keep it up, because I think we're going to go right back to LinkedIn for you to be able to show some.
I got you. In
real time. So don't stop sharing.
Okay, I'm not stopping sharing. Do you want to?
Okay.
Are the questions in the chat?
No, I'm gonna ask you. You're not gonna take my job. Oh, Brad. I'm gonna ask questions.
All right, go for it.
Now, the first question that is posed is, if I'm a business owner and I sign up, how can my employees get access to the learning? So I want to be able to engage in upskilling. Also, how can I provide that as a service to my employees?
So there is a LinkedIn business account. I can get the information. I don't have it right here at my fingertips, but I will get the information to the whoever asked that question, and the rest of the community that's on this call. But there is the ability to do that where you sign up for your business, and you can log in with if you have a profile like at whatever the domain of your company is, and they log into LinkedIn with that, or they can link their professional account, like their email address that's for their company, to their personal LinkedIn, because it's probably a Hotmail or a Gmail that you signed up with. you can
Yeah.
link the two, and then you log in and you get access to all the capabilities.
Mhm. Someone asked about the skilling certificates. So you
Mm-hmm.
talked about the certificates being utilized. Um, how do you ensure that they make it onto your profile? Is that automatic, or is there something you need to do and then
So when you
that
complete the
happen?
course, yeah, so when you're done the course that you take, it'll say you have earned this achievement. Do you want to apply that to your profile? And it gives you the step just to like click that. And what it ends up doing is it links that directly into your profile as a kind of like a digital badge, if you will.
Okay, okay. And how would they again there used to be the question we've gotten in is there used to be an opportunity for people to endorse your skills. Is that still possible?
It is. It's part of
Your
your
function?
it's within your profile that's in LinkedIn. And when you put in skills, when you select specific skills that you have, see if I have anything in your real time editing here. Mm. So like IT strategy, IT management, change management. If you go and you take the LinkedIn course. So let's go back to our example here. Alicia wants to become a video producer. What it does is it's going to associate specific skills that are with this particular program.
Mhm.
And then inside of that, all the skills that you acquired because you took that will be applied into your profile for LinkedIn. And then folks can go and say, oh, wow, Alicia's got a cert on being a video producer. Like, I never knew that. And then they can go in and endorse you based if you have that conversation. So they can use that skill to be endorsed.
Mhm. Another person asked the question, what if I have a skill that I'd like to offer? So I'm an entrepreneur that engages in training and development, and I want to help the other businesses within the community. Is there the ability for them to provide that provision?
To create content.
Hmm?
So on the LinkedIn Learning, you can be a content contributor. I'm fairly certain of. And the other thing that is another space that you could do that is when you go join into the small business community, you can kind of showcase that. Say, hey, I have this, I've got this particular offering, or I have this competency that might be helpful to you. Build that camaraderie, build that. That's where I always go back to this community. Because if we know who's might have a particular skill available that I can reach out to, that's important because I don't either have to go outsource it elsewhere because I have someone in my community that I can work with that on. But I will provide targeted response to that are specific on the process that you can do and become a contributor.
Okay, excellent. The other question that we've been posed is, what constitutes small? So I have a mid-sized business, what I think of as a mid-size. So
I
is this
honestly, that's a
available to
subjective
mid-sized companies?
question. I'd say if you have like, I don't think I can answer that question. I would say anyone that's like under 100 employees, maybe. So I don't know what constitutes that, what is small, but it's not that tens of thousands of employees, right? It's
Well,
small can be, it's
I
three
would
of
say
us.
I'm small. I'm only 4'11", but mighty. So think of yourself. If you think you need these resources, I think you
Yeah.
might want to.
If you're, yeah, I mean, if you're under 500 employees, if you're, I would constitute that as small.
Mhm. Now, another person asked, should I have a LinkedIn profile for my company as well as my individually?
Yes,
Thinking
yes.
about
So you
this.
create a LinkedIn company profile, and that's the cool part about this is it can become like kind of like your website, right? Because it's where people can interact more readily than obviously you have a website. You can see here there's a website link that jumps off, but having that small business or your business page inside of LinkedIn is very important because that showcases everything that you have that you're doing. It's a really great place to, and I'm going to get into this with the business owner's guide in another series that we have. The way you should interact on LinkedIn is very important to how you build the brand. So regularly putting contribution and posts into there, that's what's going on with your business. Engaging with others that are part of that community is how you're going to build that brand out and build the awareness, right, of who you are.
I know we just got a question. Someone that came in on their phone asked, how can they watch this live? It's on JH Connect. So if you go to the @ symbol, JH Connects on Facebook, you can watch it live. We get viewers from all that are texting in, watching in Zoom, coming on Facebook. So all of you can ask your questions, but if you'd like to watch it live while we're broadcasting, you can go on JH Connects, but it also will be there to watch after this. So don't feel like you have to rush there. Keep listening and then go to the Facebook later on and watch this video recap for yourself, and share it with your other business owners. Let me get to some more questions that are coming in. This one question came in about the trends in small business, accessing that
Newsletter.
website. How do you get there, and can you give a flavor for sort of what people might see on a daily basis?
Yeah, so we'll provide the link. It's searchable inside of LinkedIn, so it is a newsletter group in LinkedIn. And really, it can be, I would say it's very contextual to what's happening right now. Being mindful and empathetic of how challenging things are right now, it's good to have a space where you can kind of see what's happening in the rest of the community. So what should you expect? I mean, I'm scrolling through here. You can see some of the topics within. For the most part, as you can well see, it's got to do with the impact on what the pandemic is causing, which is top of mind. It's what we want to understand. What's going to happen next? How do we keep running our business in this case? It's a really good resource just to go through and see some of these postings on what's happening in these local areas. So that's what I would expect. Now, as things come back to normal, obviously you're going to see the newsletter starting to feed that type of information in. Businesses starting up. How are these businesses tackling the new norm that you can't have as many people inside of a facility, that you have to go through specific procedures for testing and things like that, right? I would expect you'll see that the newsletter putting things like that in, because those are the trends.
As a business owner, is there any way for small businesses that are less known to get promoted on LinkedIn? So, on Facebook or other platforms, you could definitely purchase your advertising, but we have a small business asking, how might they become more known? And don't worry, we are taking up that topic in a full series about your profile, but can you talk a little bit about that, Brett?
Yeah, I can kind of glance through that. It's really around having consistency and continued engagement within the platform that you have available. If you're running a profile that doesn't have a picture, that doesn't have your brand of your company on it, and it's very plain, you're not going to really get the engagement that you would want. If you have a picture, if you're posting with rich media, where there's like a video that streams in your post, has exponential more impact and view than just posting a link with a picture or just text. So these are the nuances that I want to go into more detail in our next series, but these are the nuances that are, we've used the term rock your profile. So making your brand kind of this rich digital brand that's inside of LinkedIn. So you are regularly engaging with people, because what happens is when you post normally, it goes to the top of the stack, right? There's a new post. So people are going to see that. And we're all accustomed to this now, scrolling through, just looking at stuff all day long in social media. You want to get that, you want to keep loading your content to the top of that stack.
Great. Now we have more questions coming in. I'm actually worried we're going to be out of time, Brad. So many people tune in.
Hopefully questions. I can answer all of them.
I know. because LinkedIn is a professional platform, people are saying they're not that comfortable on how to engage. What's seen as strategic versus worrisome engagement on LinkedIn? Can you do that?
So I would say treat the conversations that you're having, treat the posts that you're doing, the messages in the same manner. You're trying to grow your business. So it's not good to engage in any, obviously never engaging in negative banter on LinkedIn, right? Because it's going to not only will it mar your own personal brand, you don't want it to mar your business. You don't want to be seen that way. So leading with empathy is always one of my key principles. When you're having a conversation in a professional environment, keep it professional. But you can still have the light whimsy, right? You can still have that lighthearted conversation, and engage with kind of camaraderie and friendship and things like that. But I would not be critical in the sense, and some people like to get really upset, and granted so. But if you're building the brand for your company, just the main key point is like lead with empathy when you're building your brand for your company. And I think that's probably good guidance on how, and obviously you're going to figure out your rhythm on how you engage in the platform. But from what I've seen, it's pretty consistent with, if you just lead with empathy, you'll get a good engagement with the folks in the community.
No, I agree. I think what you said is spot on. I think as I started out this session, LinkedIn is the networking platform for professionals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just think of this is not the, TikTok or your Instagram, which is much more lighthearted. You might even have a different friend segment on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But think of this as a professional setting, but I think of all social media as a person. We could go into that for an hour, but we don't have time for that. But it is very much a professional setting, and people are hiring and buying based on those perceptions. Let me get to this next question, which is, as a small business, things are tight and unpredictable. Is there a way for us to take advantage of the premier features during COVID? Is there any short-term, do you envision there being some short-term provision or any support or things people should be thinking about of how to make that investment?
So to unbox the question further, are there any like short-term free offerings coming from LinkedIn for the premium package? Is that the question?
Yeah, that's a nutshell. I tried to make it a little different, but yes, that's the question. Yes.
I took it direct. So I don't have the answer to that. I will reach out to the LinkedIn team and see if there's any packaging like that. But again, in the short term, you can trial obviously for 30 days if it's of interest to anyone that wants to just go in and see, kind of dip your toe into what is it to have the premium experience.
Mhm.
And totally understand that times are tight because that's one of the driving challenges that I mentioned in the beginning. But I will absolutely reach out to find out the answer to that question if there is anything.
And just to point out the small business LinkedIn, and you have that link on Facebook as well as you have it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
To access LinkedIn for small business, that's a free resource.
That's right. This community right here is a free resource. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So all the tools
I've been on it for a couple of days, and it is chock full of just amazing things that are just for free, but just such rich content.
Yeah, I'm pretty staggered. If I'd known about this back when I was doing startup days, I think I would have gone a lot further.
Yes, I know. Well, I maybe started my hobby, so that's what I'm using it for, my hobby as well.
Video production.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Someone
Studios.
someone just gave you a shout out. They just wanted to say happy to see these learning tools. I'm excited to share this with their team of 5 and to help them build their skills. So that's uplifting.
Awesome.
Hear somebody just saying that. One person, we got this question in. What should a small business owner do with that has little time to engage, what is the one thing they should definitely do?
So that's that whole thing around. I use that building muscle again. I go back to we almost have to steel ourselves to take a moment of pause to think it through. It like I can run all day long. I'm busy, and I've heard I was the same way. Like I've got way too much on my plate. I can't stop. You have to steel yourself and pause and think about like how much value am I getting out of run all the time? How do I change the way that I approach my day? And again, carving out that time, maybe 30 minutes out of an entire week, isn't insurmountable. But stealing yourself, taking pause, and identifying how you can shift the way that you're saying that you only have no time, you never have time to engage. Pause yourself and think about it. Like, how can I change the routine of my day? How can I focus on mental wellness and health for a moment? How can I take a few minutes out of my day to go skill up for a few? How about I allocate 5 minutes of my day to go jump on my page, things that I'm thinking about that have been challenging, things that I might be coming out with my business to post. So I know it's tough when you're running hard and trying to keep your business going. You're running all the time, but it's just one of those things you have to kind of pause and steel yourself to think about.
No, absolutely. I used to say the only thing we have are time and choices. Most choices are about our time and how we spend it. So
yes,
you have to, even if it's in the, if it's in the car, although we don't travel as much as we used to, buying out that time is really good. We had someone say, sorry to join late. That's okay. You can watch this later. But they have a question, you may have already covered this, but what are the benefits of using LinkedIn for my career? You want to talk about that, Brad?
So being one of the largest, if not the largest professional network, you pointed out in the beginning of our call, Alicia, 62, how many subscribers did you have on there?
We have 660 million.
There you have it.
And we just added everybody to watch. So we just got another, something.
So seeing that to be this stage, this is your digital stage to showcase yourself, your brand. And a lot of people take a lot of time to nurture, their other social media. Take the time to nurture this social media, this professional social media, because what it is, it's showcasing you as your professional career, and it's longitudinally. So over time, right? What was my education? What am I interested in? How do I spend my time? The more full 360 you can make your profile, the more it's going to help you out with your brand and career. And the other point that I made earlier, I think the metric was having more than 10 skills that you've associated to your profile gives you 27x more probability of being seen inside of the LinkedIn search engine. So absolutely, it's paramount that you for career to showcase your brand inside of LinkedIn.
No, I agree. I'm telling you, there's not anybody, well, there are a couple, but not anyone who you don't want to network with that will turn you down on LinkedIn. Most people will reach out and let you know. One question that we have is, what's the number one mistake people make in the virtual networking world? Brad, we can take this together. I'm not going to make you go it alone.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your perspective. I kind of leaned on it a little bit on leading with empathy before, like the way you communicate. It's when you communicate into these platforms, it's scored in time, right? It doesn't go away.
It does not go away. Does not go away. I will say the one mistake I see people make is they are different people than they are online. There could be an inconsistency, right? So you speak in one voice, you're vocal, you opinion on everything. And then when I meet you in person, it's like
very different.
I just met a completely different person. Or I say live authentically and harmoniously and truthfully. And so Think about, who are you and what would you say in person? Now, everything you say in person, you wouldn't say on social media. Again, it's an indelible mark, but show up in the same way. Don't let there be inconsistency. I see that as something that people sort of get caught up in the brand.
Yep.
The brand is who you are. And if there's if Coca-Cola puts out a product, I'm saying a brand, but Coca-Cola puts out a certain image and it doesn't match up when you buy the product, you're not going to buy the product again. Same thing with you on LinkedIn. If the reality doesn't match the persona, then I think you fall into a big hiccup, which I see a lot of people doing, being something and they aren't on social media.
Agreed. I think be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, it can sometimes show through.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, this is a question someone asked, and this is this one I have as well.
Sure.
Why is the who viewed your profile anonymous?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Why is the who viewed your profile anonymous? So why do people have that?
LinkedIn free, when you sign up and you don't have premium, you cannot see that who viewed your profile. When you sign up for premium, you can see a lot more on how they viewed your profile, like how did they get to your profile, and who is looking at your profile. Now, sometimes for privacy purposes, some folks won't disclose that they're who they are, like in a company. So you'll see someone at such and such industry or someone at such and such company has looked at your profile. But once you click on to premium, if you sign for the trial, you can see what it's like. You get all sorts of analytics and metrics around how people are looking at your profile, how many views you're up and down in. There's a lot. I haven't even unboxed all that right now. So I've focused on learning and on some of the resources for small business, but you really, really do unlock a ton of capabilities once you light up premium.
Mm-hmm. What's the LinkedIn Pages action plan for small businesses? Can you talk a little bit about that? And
I think that's this guy.
Yes.
So this, if you take some time to go read through, more or less what this is doing is it's really the map on how you can go through and the steps to take. You can even see right here, create your personal profile page matters. It gives you the guidance you need and the steps to take to get your personal profile and your business profile set up inside of LinkedIn. And it's all the way from the beginning to the end process that you can start actually getting the reach of your business. So this is probably one of the coolest resources. That's why I think we will take time to really focus attention on that in its own series.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone wrote in the comments, this is so nice. They said, this is so informative. I appreciate all the ways Johns Hopkins is helping the small business community during COVID. And let me just extend also my appreciation to Microsoft. Amazing team. We have Brad on screen, but we have Rupa in the background and Donna and Dana. I mean, everyone from Microsoft has been so generous. Just a stellar team in providing this resource. And it really was not a ask. It really was an offer from Microsoft. So we're just really thankful to Microsoft and LinkedIn for this. So I share that appreciation with the team that's allowing for us to bring this to bear. Let me ask this one question. We're about to have to wrap up just because of timing. But how can people stay up to date on the different changes in LinkedIn? Looks like since someone said since they enrolled, they did not know about LinkedIn Learning. They didn't know about the small business resource. How can they stay clued in on what to do and what resources are available?
So if they go in and join this small is mighty, the LinkedIn small business community, you're going to get that information and it's going to be fed through because LinkedIn's doing that, right? They're communicating in their platform, all these net new things that are coming out. All the links we've conveniently put on the page. So I'd suggest anyone that's tuned in, go out to the links, subscribe to the particular newsletter, to the group, become part of that community. And that's going to be your avenue, your stage for being informed of what's coming. And I put my LinkedIn profile out there. Feel free to connect with me. Feel free to direct message me. I'm more than happy to engage, because it's about the community, right? And helping each other out. So
nice. You just gave people a free pass to join and become Brad's friend. Brad does put up some pretty interesting stuff, so I do commend you. If you can follow Brad, that's a huge offer he just gave all of you. This has been phenomenal. Let me wrap up. Do you have any final words, final things for us to think about as we think about growing our success on trends and skilling up? What things that people should be thinking about?
I would suggest give it a try over the holidays. It doesn't hurt. You can always back out and stop at the trial, and take time to reflect on how you're spending your day to build the muscle, right? To build the skilling muscle, because now more than ever, there's a void in skills that are going to be coming in the next 10 or so, 20 years, that there's going to be jobs that you would not even fathom are available. So get out, skill up, and continue to grow. It's not, let me go do this for a short period of time. Make it a muscle that you're building, because the more you learn, the more you're going to be able to think about how you can change the game that's for your business. Or you might have an idea. You might not even be a business owner. You might be a student that's logging in from Hopkins, and you have this awesome idea that you're doing. You could use this tool to help go and grow that out.
That reminds me, Brad, everybody that works at Hopkins, you have the ability to use LinkedIn Learning for free. It comes in, it's a part of your package as an employee. So please, go on there, use your Jet ID, but you can all use LinkedIn Learning and be doing these upskilling components and these lessons, and even the snackable videos for free. So again, thank you to you, Brett. Thank you to Microsoft. Thank you to LinkedIn. And thank you to as well Rupa, who has been an amazing partner with us at LinkedIn. Let me give a couple of announcements, and then we are going to say goodbye to you until the new year. This series returns after the holiday, Tuesday, January 12th. Put it on your calendar at 1 o'clock. This is going to be all about branding, building your profile. So we had a lot of discussion, quite a few questions about branding, building your profile. We're going to come back in the new year with that segment. We also have dropped in your reading over the holiday, which is Business Owner's Guide to LinkedIn. So over your holiday break, over the winter break, please go and get that guide and read it. Read up on all the offerings and play around with your LinkedIn profile. As Brad said, you can't break it. You can't break the machine. So at least try things out. Try different things out. Tonight we will also have at 6 o'clock the from 6 to 7:30 the CEO community conversation. So please tune in for that. Entrepreneurship Matters on Thursday, all about cleaning, from 1 to 2 o'clock. Please follow us on JH Connects on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and LinkedIn. Email feedback to us at jhconnects@jhu.edu. Again, want to thank our community partners, Microsoft and LinkedIn, as well as Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Health System, and Hopkins Local. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.